So 30 years of Vital Information as a band leader.
Right.
Now, when you first started Vital Information 30 years ago, did you have any idea that that it would have this kind of longevity?
I didn't even know that I'd be playing drums this long. You know, who thinks that far ahead when you're, you know, in your 20s?
Right.
And actually, if we really want to trace the beginning of Vital Information, it goes back pretty far because it goes back to my high school years.
Really?
Yeah, and I was in like junior in high school, you know, like 16 and 17, and I was really into big bands. And as a young person growing up in the area outside of Boston, there was a lot of big bands in that area. And so while I was a high school student, I had a chance to play in a local big band. It wasn't a high school big band, it was a college big band from a nearby college. And they needed a drummer because they didn't have a drummer in the college that could do it. And the band used to take in high school students to fill it out. Well, that's where I met Tim Landers on bass and David Wilczewski. He was one of the sax players, and the three of us really connected. So we started playing gigs outside of the big band on our own, and over the years we developed the music that then later was recorded on our first Vital Information record. So when I left the Boston area and left Berkeley in 1976, I joined. And so when I'm talking about years, that was 1971 and 72 that I met Tim and Dave. So that goes back pretty far.
Wow.
And then actually 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And then, so it had this like 10-year period of bubbling under. And so I would go on tour with Jean-Luc Ponty or Ronnie Montrose or even Journey, but once a year the three of us would meet in Boston and have a few gigs. And so what we would do is it would be Tim, who had been touring with Billy Cobham or Al Di Meola, and Dave, who was touring with Freddie Hubbard, and we'd get back together and we would get a guitar player. One of our buddies, like Dean Brown, would play with us a lot. I met Daryl Sturmer when I was playing with Jean-Luc, and so he came and played with us one year. Another year, Barry Finnerty played with us. So we had really good players.
Yeah.
And then eventually I went on to be in Journey, become successful with Journey, and then as it goes, I wanted to do a solo record, and I was the first member of Journey to do to really push that boundary, which in retrospect I can see the manager really didn't like it. It was like he was losing control, because then as soon as I did one, Neil Schon wanted to do it, and then Steve Perry wanted to do one.
Sure, yeah.
Which is the beginning and the end.
Yeah. The drummer's got one, I want one.
Exactly. And so, but with being on Columbia Records, they want to own everything you do. So I was able to get a record deal.
Right.
On Columbia Records. And so in January 1983, we had been preparing some music in 1982, like on the phone talking, let's do this song, this and this. And we went into a little studio in Rhode Island. It's a little state, south of Massachusetts, north of New York. And we recorded the first Vital Information record. So it was Tim Landers on bass, David Wilczewski on the saxophone, Dean Brown on guitar, and Mike Stern on guitar.
Right.
Because these were all guys that I knew from Berkeley, and we were old friends, and so it was comfortable, and that record was recorded in a week. It was very spontaneous and very loose, and then the album came out in the summertime of '83, and then in September and October, I had been touring with Journey all year and had a little break, so I went and did a tour of the U.S. with Vital Information. So that was our very first tour.
Howdy people, welcome to issue 15 of iDrum magazine. And what a fantastic issue we've got. We've almost got the Smith issue. And I say that for two reasons. First of all, we've got Mr. Steve Smith celebrating 30 years as a band leader with Vital Information. We've got a great interview with Steve. He talks about the history of the band, how people have come in and that affected the musical change of the band. It's a cracker. Be sure that you check that out. And at the end, he even gives us a little exclusive little exercise that you're all going to go away practicing. Now, the next Smith we've got is Mr. Nate Smith. He's been currently out touring with Joe Jackson. But of course, Nate is also known for his work with Chris Potter and Dave Holland. And again, we got a really nice little interview with him. We then catch up with Seether's Mr. Johnny Humphrey, one of the most authoritative rock drummers I've heard in a long time. And if you play in a trio, I would suggest you definitely check out what Johnny Humphreys has to say, and also just check out his playing, because it's perfect. He doesn't overplay, it's just perfect playing from beginning to end. And finally, in our features, Jamie Borden packed his car in Vegas, drove several hundred miles to the DW factory down in California, and he caught up with the very unique playing of Tos Panos and Satnam Ramagotra. So be sure to check that out too. In our review section, we take a look at Drumcraft's Series 8 acrylic kit. We also take a look at DW's airlift stands. Sam checks out a PDP concept kit. Sam also checks out the Meinl M Series fusion cymbals. And for a change, Sam and I both get to enjoy a whole host of Pearl percussion. Not often we get the opportunity to mess around with a lot of stuff like that, but we had a great time doing it. And finally, we take a little look at some accessories that may well just allow you to spend that extra Christmas money that you got and put it all to good use. Don't forget, we've got full tech sessions too, and of course we've got our complete DVD, CD and book roundup at the back of the magazine. That's it. I wish you all a fantastic 2013. May it bring you everything that you want. Careful what you wish for, and enjoy your drumming. That's it from all of us at iDrum. Take care, and we'll see you again very soon.